Good almost actual morning-ish. Welcome to twitch.tv/IceCreamUploads. My name is Graham D, and I am joined by the Wanderer, the man that we call Bippy. I'll read, Bib.
Happy New Week, Graham.
Happy New Week.
Monday.
My brain frazzled then. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Nice. I'll read. Ginger, your week off?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I got to spend a lot of time with my boy, which I was extremely happy about. Obviously, there was taking away Christmas because obviously you return back to work and things like that. I don't get to spend as much time as I'd like to. So this week it was even more than I anticipated because he ended up getting impetigo for like 4 days, which meaning that he couldn't go into nursery because it's highly contagious. So yeah, the first 4 days we was just walking to the park,
Lad
going
and
into
dad.
the town centre.
Let's
Yeah, just lad
go.
and dad, you know what I mean? Great style. Absolutely. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, me and you had this discussion on Saturday. Like, Samantha was a little bit disappointed that we couldn't do things like go into baby sensory or go into play centres and stuff like that, which, fair, I understand that. Like, obviously, with him going and knobbing about and throwing himself into ball pits and going down slides and stuff, that's all well and good. But in terms of just stone cold, being able to just play around in the front room, getting down on the floor and throwing golf clubs at him and kicking balls at him and stuff like that. You know, the stuff that dads do.
Can I have 2 tickets for knobbing around, please?
I thoroughly enjoy all of that stuff. I don't have to be in a play centre to enjoy my time with my boy. And neither does Samantha, but she just feels like because we're not doing something especially for him and for him to have that enjoyment around everybody else. But his friends are in nursery. His friends are in other nurseries around because their parents go to work as well. So very much like when you have time off, Graham, if Danielle's not off, you're probably just going to be playing games and stuff like that because you don't have people having time off with you at the same time. Like, his friends are doing other things. So fair enough, not going to play centres or whatever. I'm not bothered about that. I got to spend literally 7 days dicking about with my boy, and it's been amazing.
Nice. Nietzsche wants a good knobbing, he says. Oh, no, I want to be knobbing. Oh, okay, about you. Yeah, nice. Damn
about.
Twitch, no notification. Sorry, I've done the exclamation mark time for you already, JMK. I was a bit disappointed you weren't here to do it, but I did it already. It's fine. God damn. Welcome in, everyone, to the stream. Lake was in earlier on. What the fuck? The clock is actually almost nowhere near 10 a.m. Nice. Nice. The time is 1:45, so it's close-ish. Ish. Less so for Lake, you know, with that extra hour or whatever he is ahead. It's goddammit fine. Nietzsche says ginger is contagious. I mean, this.
I'm still trying to work out what colour hair Joseph has, though. Like, because in some lights it is really ginger. In some lights it's just in normal daylight it's blonde, but
Strawberry blonde.
This is going to sound ridiculous, but at night time it looks brown. Like that isn't because it's dark in the room or anything like that. I think he's just like a chameleon. He just changes.
And when all the lights are off, it looks black, like everything.
It's ridiculous. I know it's a stupid statement, but genuinely, I don't know what hair color he has yet. It's really weird.
It's alright, it'll change anyway. I was born blonde, and now look at my hair's changing again and getting these little light bits. Now, god damn it. Anyway, enough about the hair colours. How are we all doing? Welcome into the stream. If you don't know who we are, my name is Graham Day. This is Bib. We are Ice Cream Uploads and true Ice Cream fashion. This is The Scoop. This is the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. I'm going to stop for just a second, because I have been listening to the VGC video game podcast, and I saw Jordan Midler say that they have the UK's #1 video game podcast the other day, and I didn't even respond to it. I just thought, check yourself, because, you know, if we say so ourselves, we have the UK's #1 video game podcast, so sort it right out, mate. Sort it right out. So yeah, we do go live on Twitch, not last week, but this week at 10 a.m. ish, each and every single weekday, bringing you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories in the world of video games. But we want to hear your thoughts and impressions, and then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how the whole show works. So if you are in the stream, we are live on twitch.tv/IceCreamUploads. Please do feel free to get involved, particularly because the live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon Music, not SoundCloud, but Google Play as well. Nice. We have had over 200 200,000 people. It's over now. I'm not even going to say nearly. It's just over. That's where we are. Over 200,000 people watch and listen to our podcast on demand. So please do feel free to get involved in the stream on behalf of all of those beautiful people. Before we jump into the show, a couple of things to mention. First off, if you're not in our Discord, you probably should jump in. You're missing out on opportunities. Last week, we gave away, I think, close to 20 copies, beta codes for the finals. So that's the new, I want to say BR, but I don't actually know the format or what it's classed as. I haven't played it yet. I have a code. It's installed, but I haven't played it yet. But anyway, we gave away nearly 20 codes for that last week. Even just yesterday, people were still dropping the Discord going, got any of those codes? Got any of those codes? Sorry, mate. All gone. All gone. You got to be in it to win it. So if you're not in the Discord, you're missing out on opportunities. And also, as well as that, we gave away a copy of TBC. We don't know what it is. Because Batman Dan finally won the loot drop. So the loot drop, we exported the names on Monday. We drew it on Wednesday, where Nietzsche won. And then Nietzsche went, you know what, fuck this shit. I don't want it. Re-roll it. So he let me re-roll it again on stream because that's just what Nietzsche does. And then Rebecca Cope won. And then Rebecca Cope didn't claim it by 9:30 p.m. on Friday, so we rolled it again, and Batman Dan won on Saturday morning, and he claimed it, but hasn't told us what game he won. So he's won something and has not told us. Nice.
Did they know? Did Rebecca know that she'd won it? Like, has anyone? I'm guessing no one reached out to her to say that she'd won it. Otherwise, she would have joined the Discord.
I don't think so. Whereas Forney reached out to Batman Dan to let him know. So there's nothing wrong with reaching out to people, by the way. If someone wins and you know them, and you think, oh, that's my friend, let's tell them, then absolutely do feel free to. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. Because if you do, then you don't get a reroll, so you don't get a chance to win. So this is what it is. But Batman Dan robbing the loot drop. Batman Dan robbing the loot drop. Nice. Rebecca Cope eats ice cream with a fork. Pass it on. So yeah, I mean, Rebecca Cope, I think she follows us on Twitch, but she's not in the Discord, so we couldn't tag her. And we don't go out of our way to tell people that they've won because, you know, it's just, you got to be in it to win it. So yeah, nice.
Everything's so bright.
Like Bibby's actually humming.
Bow down to me!
You look like you just gone nuclear.
I know. I've just opened the curtains, thinking, "Oh, a little bit of natural light that'll do." But I think it's genuinely just made it worse. Like, but you can't even see my fucking left eye.
I'm full screening you. I want to see this happening in real time. Oh, it looks okay now.
If I do the scoop like this, we're all right.
You're a thumb, though.
There we go.
Nice.
I can't wait to give you my thoughts and impressions on top of your thoughts and impressions, and then your thoughts and opinions on top of ours.
Nice. Killer Xbox says, I just got a DM off you. I'm new to Twitch, so I'm not sure what it was. JMK exclamation mark beats. That's just our go live alert. So when people go live on Twitch, they can put a message in that says like, "Hey, I'm playing games on Twitch. Come and join me." We changed it to be, "Hey, you just got a message from us," and people keep coming in. So we also then created an exclamation mark bait command, which is just like, "Don't worry, you're not the first. You won't be the last. It's okay. You're here now." So yeah, that's all it was. It was just a hi, come join us, which you did. So it worked. Good. Is it the chastity key for Bibby? Is the chastity key for Bibby still available? Are you promising your services to Bib?
I mean, it might be. This may be in relation to my saucy bed picture from last night, where I fell asleep. Again, counting my lucky stars that I fall asleep next to the love of my life, Skyrim.
I did see that picture. I didn't. So weird. If you want to check out Bibby's only bibs, then check out twitch.tv, twitter.com/. We've got Bibinho. Nice. Yeah. Baited Discord. Nice. I'm not in Discord. Do have to join that, bro. Yep. There you go. Nietzsche's linked it. That's the one. So that link in the chat, discord.gg/fucktub. That wasn't the link that we asked for. That was just one of the autoed links that was generated about 5 years ago, and we've just stuck with it since because it looks like it says fucktub. So we're very mature. Nice. That's the beta, isn't it? What, baby? Maybe. Doc told me I'm not allowed outside in the light. Just gone. Nice. Enix!
The price of being ginger.
Join, bro. Thanks. No, thank you for jumping in the Discord. So we have a channel called Loot Drop in there. So every month, anyone that's a subscriber to ICU gets entered into a sub-only giveaway, and it's basically just a way that we can give back for the people that support the channel. And it's usually either a piece of ICU merch like the hats that we're wearing, or it's a game of your choice. This month it was a game of your choice, and Batman Dan has one and hasn't chosen anything, so his game is suspense. Nice, great, pleasure playing with you. Let's go. So yeah, do feel free to keep your eyes on that channel. If we do have any extras as well as the loot drop, we throw them in there. Got to go out, but I'll pop on when I'm back. That's fine. You're just about to miss the entire show, but it's okay. It's okay. Speaking of the entire show, we do have a few stories to talk about. If you wondered whether it was me or Bibi that pulled the news together, well, let me tell you that the headline story is about Elder Scrolls. so you work it out. Shubhankar Parijat at Gaming Bolt says the Elder Scrolls 6 could end up coming to PS5 after all. This is a rumor. That is the first story that we're going to jump into. We'll then talk about Microsoft finally confirming that it won't be on the E3 show floor. Streets of Rage 4 gets a big update. Stalker 2 developer has been enduring constant cyber attacks for more than a year, and 1.4 million people played CSGO over the weekend. So another new record for CSGO over the weekend. God damn, there's a reason we put it last, because that's a story that we cover like every 5 minutes. But we'll cover it nonetheless, because, you know, it's what we do. For now, though, Mr. Bib, have you ever heard of a game called Elder Scrolls?
Do you know what, Graham? It rings a bell, but I don't think it's my type of game.
Ah, well, sit still. I might be able to convert you. As Shubhankar Parijat at Gaming Bolt says, the Elder Scrolls 6 could end up coming to PS5 after all. Rumour. So Microsoft previously said that it had 3 Xbox and PC exclusive ZeniMax titles in the pipeline, but the Elder Scrolls 6 might not be in that group. Ooh. So back in 2020, Xbox boss... Slowed down then because I wasn't confident in my abilities at that point in time. I had to slow it rather than just go straight into it. Nice. Xbox boss Phil Spencer said that the exclusivity of future Bethesda games would be decided on a case-by-case basis, but it's been generally accepted by most since then that heavy hitters like Starfield and The Elder Scrolls 6 are going to release exclusively for Xbox and PC, with the former obviously confirmed at this point. However, it seems like The Elder Scrolls 6 might end up being a multi-platform title after all. Just want to point out that I'm a massive Xbox fan. The last console I streamed on was an Xbox, so, you know, mega Xbox.
Confirmed.
Yeah, nice, 100%. As pointed out by Axios' Stephen Tolito on Twitter, Totilo, should I say, on Twitter last December, Microsoft layers? Should that say? Microsoft layers? Is that the right word?
I pass. I don't know what it is that they're trying to say. So
it seems like boss. You know, I'll just say boss, and if that word's wrong, then it's meant to be layers.
Lawyers?
Bits in it.
Can't be.
Ah, lawyer. Microsoft people said that they had 3 games developed by ZeniMax Studios in the pipeline that were set to release exclusively for PC and Xbox. At the time, it was assumed that in addition to 2 confirmed exclusives, Redfall and Starfield, that also included The Elder Scrolls 6. Drunken Prom! Hey, Prom, how you doing? Thank you very much for the bit. He's welcome in. I hope you had a good weekend. Nice, sir. I'll only be like 30 minutes, says Kill Xbox. No, that's fine. We'll sit and wait. Everyone just grab yourself a drink. Microsoft players. No, it can't.
That doesn't seem right.
No, well, it definitely says people. Microsoft people. Nice. Anyway, last week, however, a Microsoft representative said the new plan now was for 2 more upcoming ZeniMax titles to skip PlayStation, presumably Starfield and Redfall. That's notable, of course, because in January, Microsoft shadow dropped Tango Gameworks Hi-Fi Rush for Xbox Series X and S and PC. In light of that, speculation now seems to be suggesting that The Elder Scrolls 6, whenever it releases, might not end up skipping PlayStation after all. Microsoft has also declined to comment on the same. Of course, that's not concrete evidence by any means. There's a good chance that Microsoft's public statements about the upcoming releases pertain only to games set to launch in the near future, which The Elder Scrolls 6 definitely isn't. With The Elder Scrolls franchise's massive player base across all platforms, including PlayStation, it would make sense for Microsoft to release it as a multi-platform game, but given how far into the future its release is, it would be best not to take anything being set in stone just yet. And then we got a bunch of tweets and stuff there, which we'll just leave for now. So that was from the team at Gaming Bolt. The Elder Scrolls 6 could be coming to PS5. Thoughts?
Do you know what? And I'm not saying this just as someone who has a PlayStation, and that is probably their main console, albeit I don't actually play it as much as I do play my Xbox Series S. There goes my Xbox 360 controller.
Sounded like a guitar to me. Okay. I was going to say, maybe plays his Xbox with a guitar. Pass it on.
Confirmed. How dare you mock me? But yeah, as someone who obviously mains a PlayStation, this is very good news. But looking at it from the outside, and someone who is obviously a massive Elder Scrolls fan as well, PlayStations are being sold against Xboxes. Is it 3-1 at the moment? It could even be 4-1.
I think
so.
I think it was actually not as great, like, because it was. I think it was like 4-1 last gen or something like that. But I'm pretty sure it was like almost 2-1ish or something like that. Was it like 30 million PlayStations sold versus 12 million Xbox? I can't remember. It was something like that. So it's more like just over 2-1 or something like that.
Like 2.5-1, we'll say. The S being the half in this. So yeah, it makes sense to have it on as many platforms as possible, because that's just good business. With the fact that there is a much bigger PlayStation base out there, they are going to obviously have this on Game Pass day one. They're obviously going to have this being sold on Steam and Epic Games Store and anywhere else that they could potentially have this on PC, GOG, wherever. They're going to sell it on those as well. But obviously, having it on PlayStation, I do think that makes a hell of a lot of sense for them, because ultimately, as much as they want people to go out and buy Xboxes, they need to make money. And this game is probably going to last forever. If it lasts as long as Skyrim does, we're probably going to have 3 different versions of it, and then remastered versions, and then special editions, and then all this other shit that comes on alongside it, as well as Elder Scrolls Online ticking in the background, because that play base just seems to be growing and growing and growing as more patches end up coming out for it, or more, not DLC, expansion packs. Them having it on every single console possible, especially the console that is outselling the one that you currently have, or your company is owned by. Yeah, this game is going to be financially huge for them, and I don't think they can miss the boat with it, even if it's an exclusive on Xbox for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. If I was an Elder Scrolls fan, which I am, and I didn't have an Xbox, but I have, I would probably go and buy an Xbox just for the sake of it, and that's the target audience that they want to be able to try and bring over. You have a PlayStation, okay, well, you can't play this unless you go out and buy an Xbox or you have it on your gaming PC. Because this game is going to demand so much more than what my PC is capable at the moment. So if I do want to play this on PC, and I want to have a good chance of it looking half decent and not playing it on low at 720 or 1080, then chances are I'm probably going to have to upgrade my PC parts. So yeah, it does make sense for them to be able to move that over. I know that's going to annoy fanboys from either Team Blue, Team Green, or whatever. I don't care. I'm trying to be as impartial as possible, coming at it from both angles. They're here to make money. They are a business. They're making video games to be sold, not just to cater to you. They want the masses to be able to play this video game. So for them to be able to try and get as much money as possible, of course, they're going to have to open as many avenues as humanly possible. And the console that is outselling the Xbox at the moment is the PlayStation. Time will tell. This isn't a game that's going to be coming out this year. I don't think it's a game that's going to be coming out in 2024. I don't think it's going to be early parts of 2025 if it does land. I think it's going to be a holiday release or around there. that'll mark about 15 years since Skyrim actually came out, because Skyrim came out in 2011. So that'll be around about 15 years since Skyrim came out. So yeah, we've got a long way to go in this yet. But I do believe that this isn't just going to be sold on Xbox. But I suppose time will tell.
I mean, just to confirm those stats, by the way, while Baby was talking then, I looked it up. So PlayStation 5 has sold 30 million units. This was right as of about 4 weeks ago. I think we covered it then. Whereas the Xbox, they only released estimate statements, but it was 18.5 million. So it's not 2 and a bit to 1. So rather than it was being 30 to 12, the gap was 12 million. So 18 million Xboxes sold, PlayStation sold 12 million more than that. That's the stats.
Let's not forget, this is probably going to come out on last gen as well. Like, I know people should have probably moved on to a new gen console then, but you're only buying one SKU on Xbox. You're going to have to buy 2 on PlayStation if they do end up releasing it as on a PlayStation 4 console, which if it does, then that just makes the even more sense to release it on PlayStation, because at PlayStation sold so many millions more than they did compared to the Xbox. So yeah, I mean, that enforces the comment of it needs to be on everything. Like, it's not going to be something that's going to land on the Switch like Skyrim did. It won't be capable of being able to do that until a new edition of a Nintendo console arrives. And that's not to say that it's guaranteed to land on that system. So, yeah, only time will tell. But business-wise, it makes absolute sense to move it onto PlayStation.
Yeah. Plus, there's other factors in there as well. Is if you're trying to show to the CMA, Competition and Markets Authority, or the EU regulators that are looking at the Activision Blizzard deal, and if your last big game that you've bought from a third party to make it into a first party title that was mega cross-platform, your next release is only on Xbox, then that shows to regulators that you're actually, maybe I am not very cooperative. So we did take the Elder Scrolls, which players like JMK in the chat has said, I hope it comes to PS5. I've played all since Morrowind and actually just reinstalled Elder Scrolls Online again. So JMK has played it on PlayStation, and through no fault of his own, he's bought a console that now will not have that title because of Microsoft's internal decisions. That shows the EU regulators and the CMA that actually maybe Xbox owning these first-party titles probably isn't really the best thing for all gamers after all. Whereas if they go, by the way, we definitely are planning to release this on all platforms when it comes out. So we'll show you these secret notes, redacted, that shows that the job's good and nice. Then that's the way for them to show goodwilling and then pick up Activision Blizzard, which then naturally churns extra business stuff for them. Forgetting the fact that it would actually be good for sales, like Bibby says, the fact that Xbox has currently 18.5 current gen consoles on the market. PlayStation, that's almost doubled with 30 million. So obviously 36 is where it would be for doubling that. So 30 million on the market there. Putting those together, if you throw in Xbox One stats, that's another 51 to 58 million consoles, because nobody really knows. It's estimates, because Xbox don't release numbers until they're in the front, and when they're not in front, you just have estimates. So 51 to 58 million. And I don't think they would do, because Xbox has a better ecosystem for backwards compatibility. Xbox One might be able to play it. Xbox Series S and X will be able to play it. PS4, if it came out on that platform, it's not quite the same. Releasing for PS4 is not the same as releasing for PS5, like it is on Xbox. But that would be a big win, because PlayStation 4 unlocks 117 million users there on PS4. So if they're chasing big money, that's a good way to do it. If they're chasing better releases, I would drop the PS4. I would only go for the future, because obviously you look at what Bibby just mentioned then. The last Elder Scrolls game has been around for 15 years. And Microsoft are good at putting their longevity titles like Minecraft onto other systems, because they will churn money for 15 years. Minecraft is doing that. Minecraft, when it was first put on the PS4, was shit. Anyone that had Minecraft on PlayStation will tell you that it wasn't properly supported when they took it over from Mojang, however you pronounce it. But then they realised, actually, maybe we just losing money by having the game there but not really monetizing it, and then they've made it like cross-platform parity in that sort of sense, and now people can play on whatever format they want, play cross-play and earn shitloads of money. This is that kind of game. It's not a game that you go, oh, we'll take 70 quid off. Jobs are good, and we might earn a couple of months worth, maybe 12 months worth of in-game purchases, and then people will drop off and move on. This isn't that. I mean, Bibby is testament to that. Like, if he moved his camera to the side, you'd see he has Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, I don't know the difference between the two, by the way, artwork on the wall, like just there next to him kind of thing.
There's no difference, by the way. Elder Scrolls is the all-encompassing. So, like, Harry Potter is the all-encompassing, but the Chamber of Secrets is just one part of the story.
So
Skyrim is one part of the story. Morrowind is another. Oblivion is another. Daggerfall is another.
There you go. So, yeah, that...
Yeah. But do you know when this game comes out though? This is something that I'm not just looking forward to being able to play it, but I want to see the general consensus of the whole gaming community landslide that this will potentially create. Because forget about the consoles and where people are going to be playing it. Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls itself is an IP nearly like no other. In terms of what it achieves as an RPG, size of this moth.
Oh,
and what it achieves as a story, adventure, and the time frame that is set, and all these different stories that are taking place not necessarily at the same time, not like it is on ESO. But this is a game that obviously you said that you liked the look of Skyrim, but it needs to be more modern. Fully appreciate. Game came out in 2011. It's been remastered a million times. If you play it on PC, it can look spectacular because of the mods and everything that gets put in it. But what a PlayStation 5 version of an Elder Scrolls game can potentially end up looking like is going to be probably one of the prettiest or prettier games that you're probably going to play on this generation of consoles, providing that the game bloody comes out during this, because it's missed the last two.
I mean, we're already 3 years into this console. That could be good though, because that means it could arrive right at the end of the PS5 generation. If it comes out in 2 to 3 years' time, that'll be 5 to 6 years into the generation. So people will fully have unlocked the engine and everything by that point, like for both platforms, Xbox and PlayStation. So look at an early PS4 game and look at an late PS4 game, and you can see the differences. And this early PS5 games that are just for PS5 or early Xbox series console games that are just for those look great, but the ones that will come out at the end will look so much better.
Absolutely.
And this coming out at that point in time, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like fidelity updates to the game if it releases, and then they go, oh, by the way, we've got the Super Xbox enhanced patch or whatever kind of thing.
I genuinely think the way that we end up playing games like this is going to be completely different. Like, it's just going to be hopefully as stunning as a game that you can possibly get at this moment in time. Like, being able to take the combat engine from Skyrim, which compared to things like God of War, it does feel clunky. Like, it's not as smooth, but compared to Morrowind, it's a bloody world away from it, even a world away from Oblivion. But yeah, it's gonna be the biggest game of the decade, I think, when the game finally arrives in like 2025. I mean, it could even be 2 decades. I think this could be the biggest thing to happen since the release of Skyrim. And I know that sounds ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous, and it sounds okay, fanboy incoming. I mean, we've got GTA 5 that suffered the same fate as what the Skyrim has, or any kind of Elder Scrolls game, because it's been that long and that successful. That how do you follow up on this?
It's like watching Ready Player One and then seeing everyone interlinked into one multiversal game, and then going, oh, by the way, we need to make a second one of those. And it's what? But literally everything that I have is in this game. Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll just do you a new one though. What the fuck? So it is an absolute behemoth to pick up from. But for me, that's the only way that they would get me into it. Like, you were talking about the clunky movements, watching you like floating around and pulling the bow, and then like I was talking about, like seeing things up close, like the dragons and stuff up close. Mm-hmm. Like, I wish that I had. I don't know if it was you or if it was someone else that was talking to about it. And the first time they encountered a dragon on Elder Scrolls, it might have been Bob Duck and Weave if it wasn't you that was talking about it. And it was like, whoever it was talking about how, like, you'd seen it or they'd spoke about these dragons or whatever, but then the first time they encountered this massive dragon like flying down to attack them to engage in a fight was like such an absolute big moment. And I'm thinking I can't get lost in that moment because it just looks old, and I just don't. It doesn't have the same. If I saw it at that point in time, it would still have the same emotive resonance now. But because I'm looking at it way on, it's like watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre these days and thinking this was banned.
Yeah,
it's really naff. What is it?
Yeah.
So same sort of thing for me. So I'd want to see that fresh and new, and like I was worried it was just going to be like lots of hit points and there's archers and there's legions of dudes and not Legions of Doom, by the way. That Legion of Doom.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
What a rush! So like it's just I was thinking, it's just going to be any other sort of longbow. I always take the piss: longbow, long sword, long shield, long time. No, you're right. No thanks, mate. But watching you play it, it's definitely better than that. It's just it's just old now. So if they bring a new one out, it definitely it would have my attention, definitely. I lost a shameful amount of time doing absolutely nothing on Skyrim, says Batman Dan.
That's the beauty of it. Like, just going around and having a look at Tamriel as a whole is you can walk right the way across Skyrim, and it's beautiful. You can encounter a million different things: giants, dragons, any kind of fortress that's being manned by whichever guild are in that at a particular time. Like, you can genuinely just get lost. If you just wanted to go on blacksmith, if you wanted to go on craft stuff, like it genuinely doesn't matter. You can waste 4 hours and not do anything. But that's the kind of games that I love. I want to be invested in what my character is doing and the traversing across different aspects and going into I was going to call it Winterfell then. That's not right.
Someone's been watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah, someone's been watching Game of Thrones. But yeah, just going into these different settlements and things like that, and going into different parts that are exceptionally snowy, and then going into somewhere that's just like a spring element or an autumn element to it. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's genuinely unbelievable. Unrivaled.
I do worry for me if that game ever does see the light of day on a format that's accessible for me, because like even just playing, I've only played like 25% of Hogwarts Legacy. Mega busy last 2 weeks. I've not touched it. There's no missions and stuff in PUBG tonight, so the mission is after working out tonight, back onto Hogwarts Legacy. But same thing on that. I've only played 20% on it, which sounds like you've not done that much. But I've played like 20 hours on it as well. Because like 20 hours and 20% do not compute. That's because I've spent hours just dicking about in the world. Yeah. So give me something like fucking Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever. I'm just going to be this grey-haired, long-bearded dude. Like I'm Gandalf sat there playing it. Like it's been 84 years. Crossing the memes there. Nice. Sorry for crossing the meme. Sorry. Terribly sorry. Welcome in, Silencer. I'm not going to play it because we're doing the podcast recording, and it's on an hour cooldown as well. But I added that track that David made up. Is it too late now to say sorry? Also, DMCA. There is that too. But still. So yeah, I won't do it right now. But hey, how you doing? So sorry for getting that stuck in your head, Batman Dan. Sorry. Nice. Only issue is when Tamriel 1 came to ESO, it made it so everywhere is just the same, with the same level. Do you find Tamriel 1 made it all samey?
Tamriel 1? I don't know what that is. Tamriel is like the whole place, but Tamriel 1 came to ESO. I mean, that could be an expansion that I've missed because obviously I haven't played ESO for quite a while. But I think High Isles was the latest one, which I have seen an offer for £13, so I definitely will be picking that up at some point. When ESO first came out after a year, ESO made it so everything leveled up with the play. Right, okay. See, that makes sense, but if you haven't played it for ages, then you probably... The thing is, with ESO, every single time an expansion comes out with it, if you are someone who's just running dungeons and you are doing raids and things like that, then the meta completely changes. And I understand he's saying that everything kind of looks the same, which it suffers the same thing as like what Warzone does. I mean, you can go to different parts of the island and things will look completely different. But Vardenfell, for instance, is amazing. It's a stunning place to be able to go compared to everywhere else. But it suffers the same thing as like Warzone. When something changes, everything else changes. I'm struggling for words here to try and make it sound sense. I'm trying to put it in layman's term for everybody else who hasn't played ESO before. And I'm finding it quite difficult to try and find something that's exactly the same in comparison. But like when Warzone changed from 1.0 and then it moved over to, what was the game that came out? Was it Vanguard? And they changed the Warzone map to have guns featuring that.
Yeah, so they changed from Warzone, then they went to Black Ops, which went to the 80s version. Then they went to Vanguard, which went to like the World War II version. So they lost all of the weapons and stuff from.
Yeah, and the map completely changed to look like that particular area, didn't it? So it lost a little bit of. I mean, they all kind of look the same to me. The color palette is terrible on that game. But yeah, I understand where he's kind of coming from. But for some, if you haven't played the game for a while, then you're missing a lot of the context that goes around it. But for me, ESO is the best MMO that I've ever played, and I've played a fair few of them.
Well, I missed it. Tell you what else is getting missed. E3 this year for Xbox. Nice little tangent there. Yeah, so I'm going to have to put the pin in that. So we'll move forward to the next article. So the next article is from Chris Scullion at VGC, and it does say that Microsoft confirms it won't be on the E3 2023 show floor. The company says E3 will be co-hosting its digital showcase presentation, however. So Microsoft has confirmed that it won't have a presence on the show floor at E3 this year. The company has announced already that its digital game showcase stream will take place on June the 11th, just 2 days before E3 opens its doors. According to a statement issued to IGN, Microsoft will be co-streaming this presentation as part of E3. It will not, however, be following this up with a physical booth at the LA Convention Center, where E3 will be held this year for the first time in 4 years. Quote, "We can't wait to host our Xbox Game Showcase on June the 11th, and we'll share more details later," the company's statement to IGN reads. "We also look forward to co-streaming our event as part of E3 Digital and will not be on the E3 show floor," end quote. It should be noted that Microsoft did not attend the show floor the last time there was a physical E3 event in 2019 or 2018. I was going to say that. Was there. Didn't see it. Sorry out, mate. While the company hosted an E3 press conference that year, it didn't have any booths at the LA Convention Center, instead choosing to turn the Microsoft Theater, where it hosted its own conference, into its own showroom. According to an IGN report, the Xbox firm could yet partner with E3 organizer for a separate dedicated event away from LACC, that's Convention Center, during E3 week. So far, Ubisoft is the only major publisher to publicly commit to attending the physical E3 show. Nintendo has already confirmed it will be skipping this year's event. However, in an update published last week, the show's new organizer, ReedPop, claimed that unnamed AAA companies, in addition to indie darlings and tech and hardware firms, have committed to making their return to the LA Convention Center. The full roster, quote, by the way, of exhibitors will be announced in the lead up to the expo, providing participating companies the opportunity to make their own individual announcements beforehand, it said in a statement. Okay, might as well do the last paragraph. E3 2023's quote, Digital Week, end quote, kicks off on Sunday, the June the 11th, with outside digital events, including the PC Gaming Show, Future Games Show, Guerrilla Collective, and Black Voices in Gaming falling under this banner. Now, following Microsoft's latest statement, the Xbox Showcase can be added to that list. So, a lot going on around E3. And also a lot not going on around E3. So we have the PC Gaming Show, which is always around E3. The Future Games Show, which we've never stayed up for, despite Future Games reaching out to us a few times at Ice Cream Uploads and asking us, do you know what, you should live stream and react to this stream. It's like, we would do if it wasn't at 2 a.m. in the feckin' morning. So that's on the Guerrilla Collective, Black Voices in Gaming, all have committed, as well as Ubisoft has committed to going to the live event. There are other AAA companies, indie darlings and tech and hardware firms apparently on the list, but now with less than 3... Well, actually, E3, does it open its doors on the 13th? So if that is the case, 3 months to the day E3 takes place. 3 months only 3 months, and that is for people to book either cross America or international travel. Traveling across America is pretty much international travel compared to what we're used to in the UK anyway. So that's not a lot of time for people to get things booked in with work, take time off, book the holidays, do the saving up needed to book the flights and the hotels and sort out accommodation and that. And there's still not a lot announced really to be there, apart from there's a lot of announced what's not gonna be there but talking about it. So is this hybrid digital and in-person event gonna really be that? Anyway, thoughts, Bib?
Well, you're relying on the name of what it brings, don't you, with something like this? But Microsoft not being there is what it is. We understand that they want to own their conversation. Why spend all that money when you can do a presentation yourself? It's the same as what I imagine most people will end up doing again. It's something that we've mentioned so many times on this with the budgets, and I think I did see a thread. I probably should have found it again or saved it so that I could bring it in relation to this whenever we brought it up again. But someone was saying that they ended up spending when there was a part of. I mean, this is you got the sources, believe me, bro. But from what I'd seen,
Nice.
they ended up spending something like £175,000 on marketing their stall and having the showroom floor and everything else that went along with being at E3. And then that compared to what it is now, there was being charged or meant to be being charged like 250,000 for the same thing. How can you justify that? How can you justify the cost of having the same thing being offered at a much bigger price to be at that event? Like the prestige of being at E3, I don't think it's not what it used to be. And I don't know whether or not it's because times have changed or people have just realized it's always been a little bit shit and other things have been doing it a lot better. And then the other things that were doing it a lot better are doing it even better than they had done before. But E3 hasn't done anything for so long. I don't know, Graham. It's one of those we're going to have to genuinely wait and see what happens with E3 this year. I think it'll either be the final nail in the coffin or they'll have a lot more work to do for 2024. I don't know. It's worrying me that we don't know as much as we probably should do by now, considering it's nearly right around the corner.
Yeah.
We're not that far away from it. So how are people meant to look at their work calendars? And I'm not just saying for people who are going to be going to enjoy the event, but like Jelly Media, we would usually be going out there for networking, for working contracts and things like that. But looking at the event structure, how is anyone meant to know what those things are going to look like and just to try to justify the cost of going over there to hope that something falls into place? We aren't the only company that will be going out there for that kind of thing. We work in the video games industry. Everyone wants to go to these kinds of things to do the networking to, bring the money in. It's worrying me that we haven't got even a short list of things that are going to be happening at this event. That
for us,
that shouldn't be happening.
We were talking about going to E3. So for those that don't know who we are, hi. Speaking of hi, is it Major or is it Majoro? Welcome in. Thank you for the follow, dude. I appreciate that very, very much. So for you and anyone else that might not know, we are Ice Cream Uploads, but we also work in the video games industry as, you can only see Ellie there, but it's Jelly. So that's where the name for the channel comes from. Jelly and Ice Cream. So Jelly is a digital marketing agency working in video games. So as a result of that, we attend a lot of events, so UK events like Eurogamer, MCMs, and so on. European events like Gamescom, and international events like E3. And we were talking about E3. Are we going to E3 this year? And that very quickly was answered with a no. Nah, because we don't know what's going to be there. And the amount of cost to go versus whether it'll be worthwhile for us as a business, we couldn't establish whether it would be worthwhile. So we have chosen to not go. And at this point, we look justified in that because we're 3 months out. Microsoft's not going to be in the same building, so that's extra traveling to get to that sort of stuff. Nintendo is not going to be there. EA hasn't been there for years. Sony hasn't been there for years. So 3 first parties are not going to be in the event at all. One of them will be nearby, possibly. And other major pubs haven't confirmed they're going to be there. There will be no Bethesda showcase because it's owned by Xbox now, so that will be part of that showcase, you have to assume. So, yeah, for us, it was a no. So, yeah, I am kind of still in the same camp as you in terms of I'm not really in a camp. It's either going to be the death knell, oh, okay, E3 just doesn't work anymore, or it gives them something to build towards. I hope it's not a case of that 175k is a lot of money for a small business to rock up and have a presence at E3, especially if they don't have the big games there, which won't get them the footfall, which doesn't get them the exposure. So it's all right for Ubisoft to turn up or not, because if they do a showcase, people will watch that anyway. And as we found out during lockdown, when E3 didn't have a physical show, it still churned massive numbers for the big guns. PlayStation got more viewers during lockdown doing digital-only conferences. So did Xbox and so on. But the little guys didn't. So the rich got rich and the poor got poorer. So something like an E3 is good for the little guys, but not when it costs an extra $75,000 to have the same space. And is that just the cost of living tax, or is that the cost of working with ReedPop now? Having another agency in there that their job is to sell the event and make it profitable? Are they taking that out of the developers? If so, you're not going to have a successful event, because there is a lack of belief in E3 as a brand. E3 is bigger than E3. As we've seen, Summer Games Fest, for all intents and purposes, for other people, Jeff Keighley might not want to call it that, but it is E3. It's just an extension of E3. And anything that happens at that point in time is an extension of E3, whether it wants to be or not. It probably wants to be, but officially it's not, because, you know, we're not paying for that. Thank you, actually. So E3 needs to sort out its whole appearance to people, because if people aren't going to E3, then you can't expect people to spend $250,000 or more, and often a lot more, multiple times more, millions of dollars on stand space and floor space just because it's E3. E3 doesn't have that pull anymore. E3 needs the games and the developers more than the games and developers needed E3. Until you get down to about halfway down the list. Then those little guys need E3 to lift them up. But E3 at the moment only has those to count on, and is still expecting them to pay Xbox prices, which does not compute. The books do not balance. If you don't have Xbox in there paying Xbox prices, you can't make... I want to say Devolver, but they're a bigger indie, but we'll use those as the example. You can't expect Devolver Digital to be paying the same money that Xbox would be putting. They don't have enough coffers in the tin to fill your tin full of coffers. So you need to drop your prices, you need to drop your scale, and then build it up from there again. If you're not a Premier League event anymore and you're now in the Championship, you can't expect people to be paying Premier League prices. It does not work. So, football reference for you there. Nice, nice.
But there's so many other things that... Yeah, I mean, it could be a topic for another day, but the fact that you're paying to advertise your game there, like, no one buys anything really at a stand. There might be some merch there, but you're not buying the game more often than not at the stand. So there's no way of being instantly getting that money back. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you was to open a shop and you had stuff to sell, on the day that you open the shop, you're getting some instant revenue coming back in. That isn't the case with these events. They are there to showcase the game that'll probably end up coming out in a couple of months, or it's a game that's right around the corner, or something that will be being released during the show, but you just get a hands-on impression of it first. Like, no one really ends up buying the game from the stand at the shop, so there's no instant justification for you spending that amount of money. You just have to hope later down the line that you've advertised it well enough that people are going, saw that at E3, it was an amazing game, I'm now going to go and buy it. Or you're hoping that someone who's played it, as soon as they leave the kiosk, they're going to pre-order it or add it to the wish list or something like that. There's a lot of hoping, a lot of there's no instant justification of it, which is what these events usually are.
Yeah, it was started as a B2B event. It was, hi, I'm Graham from gamesdeveloper.com, and Bibby is retailer.com. So Bibby, I want to show you all these cool games that I want you to buy 1 million copies of each so that you can sell them at Christmas. And Bibby would go, okay, let me see all your cool stuff. And because I realized that just showing him like a PowerPoint of what we've got planned out for the game is a bit shit, we decided, we'll give him some free merch, and we'll have a few cool trailers, and we'll get a few celebrities in, because that sells it more, and then that increases over the years. And then it gets to the point where this is actually a cool watch now, because we've got fucking Mike Tyson coming in with a tiger. I don't know why I went for the Hangover as a reference, but we'll go with it anyway. So like, yeah, we'll throw that shit in. Keanu Reeves walking out on stage saying, "You're breathtaking," all that sort of stuff. It's cool stuff that people want to watch. So this stuff gets eyes on it and gets exposure. But that's all it is. It is just exposure. It is not sales. So if you spend $250,000, a couple of million, whatever the number is, to go to E3, to have a presence at E3, to be featured in an E3 conference, and don't get sales, then that is speculate to not accumulate. You need to then have that transition into sales. So a lot of brands, particularly the indie brands, are worried that actually we don't have money to waste because we don't have money to spend because we don't have that much money to earn. We know that we only have a certain slice of the pie, and very rarely do we take a bigger slice than we're entitled to. And if we do, it's probably a little bit more. We're not doubling our sales unless something just goes viral or gets featured on the front page of Game Pass or something like that, as we featured in the past, and it suddenly shits the bed in terms of makes money for the developer. That stuff doesn't happen though often, and not for the entire market. So you can't expect the entire market of independent developers, let alone all developers, to rock up at E3 with a promise of, hey, exposure. It's like, yeah, it's not even like I will pay you with exposure. It's you will pay for exposure. The sales stuff then comes later on, where you're hoping that your game being featured on this stand and gets loads of people playing it, gets that one content creator who walks past and goes, okay, this is amazing, I'm going to make a YouTube video on this, which 17 million people see, and then suddenly it gets wishlisted to fuck. Or you get your game picked up by one of the main first parties that just has a spot in its slot. We need another 15 minutes, so we need a couple of games that we can throw in. Would you like to be in? We won't even charge you. And we'll actually give you some extra co-op marketing around it too. Yeah, nice. Okay, I'm an indie developer that can't even afford to pay for marketing. So if you're going to give me some co-op stuff, jobs are good and nice. And then all of a sudden people go, wow, this PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds game looks really good. Yeah. And then 5 years later, it's still going kind of thing. It's that sort of stuff. But that happens for one developer a year, maybe, something like that. So yeah, it's frustrating. It is really frustrating to see things like Microsoft confirming it's not going to be there on the show floor, because it just comes back to E3. Why? Why is there an E3? Why is Microsoft there? Is it only there because it feels like, do you know what? I was good mates with the people at the Electronic Association of America, the ESA, aka a governing body. Are they just trying to keep governing bodies sweet by still doing bits with them and still throwing them a bone rather than giving them a full stake? It feels like that's where E3 is for me. People are just doing stuff because, lip service, and they want to be seen to supporting it. But what does it really give us anymore? Which is a shame, because there is nothing there. Hopefully, wrapping this into a bit more of a positive rather than the negative downward trend that I just found myself plummeting into it. Hopefully, this is just the start. Hopefully, ReedPop, they've only had not even 12 months probably to pull together a plan for E3. And I imagine we've seen how crap the ESA have been to be reactive for events in the games industry in general. Hopefully, that's just something ReedPop have had to deal with. They have been slow. They have been crap. They have been struggling to pull things into fruition. So hopefully, even if this event isn't the greatest, they get another bite of the cherry next year and get to build on that, and the year after, and so on. And E3 does start to turn back into some form of community celebration that is strong enough to pull big titles. Because if E3 can't do it, what else can? Yeah. Gamescom is always better in theory than what you actually get. Very, very few massive games are announced at Gamescom. Often, it's just first-party shows now. You'll watch your PlayStation conference and it'll be there. You'll watch your Xbox conference and it'll be there. E3 needs to give these guys a reason to have those conferences in their garden, in their yard. If they don't do that, then what is the point of E3? Because no other games company, no other games brand, no other games conference, expo, show can do it. And if E3 can't do it, then what's the point? Because the first parties will just do it themselves. So hopefully this is something that they can build on, and E3 turns back into what we all want E3 to be next year. Nice. Speaking of building into what we want it to be, another cheesy tangent, this is our next story. You may have seen us on the weekend playing I've lost the sponsors bit. There we go. It's back. Nice. You may have seen us on the weekend playing some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which was
in a hard shell.
Which was made by, I still don't know how to pronounce this developer's name. Dotemu, whatever it's called. They also made a game that we've played through on stream previously. We didn't play it on our channel, don't think, or did we? Did we play it on Insert Coin, or did we do it on ours, Streets of Rage 4?
I think it was Insert Coin.
Yeah, so we may have streamed over on official Insert Coin, exclamation mark Insert Coin in the chat if you want the link to that. We may have streamed it over there, but we played Streets of Rage 4. It was badass. But good news. Oisin Kuhnke at VG247 has this story. It says Streets of Rage 4 gets a big update with more than 300 improvements and custom survival mode. There's some new co-op moves in there for good measure too. So that's the tagline and the title gone. The actual article says Streets of Rage 4 has a brand new update, adding in a custom survival mode, co-op specific moves, and more than 300 improvements. Earlier this week, Dotemu, that's what we're going with now, released a big new update for Streets of Rage 4, giving the game a strong-looking second wind. First up is the game's new custom survival mode, a new mode that lets players play for as long as they can survive for, with rules that they can fine-tune themselves. Customization options include things like choosing perks, the starting level, whether it's boss levels only, enemy scaling, hazards, destroyables, weapons, and whether you can heal or not. Alongside this new mode is the big addition of cooperative moves. With this update, you'll be able to do specific combos using different characters with a friend. You can see some of the different moves included, new moves included in this update in the trailer, which I will just hit play on now. For the update above, a lot of which seem to be throwing your fight mate around the place while they're prepared to do a big hit. Just lob baby, nice. There are also more than 300 improvements made to the game across pretty much all of the characters, with plenty of buffs and tweaks for each fighter. More broadly, you'll now find that there's a lot of reduced hit-stop for all characters, and throws will hit other enemies close to the player with more consistency now too. You can check out the patch notes on the game Steam page for the full rundown of all the tweaks that have been made. Oh, we're getting to the co-op moves bit now. There you go. Throw, yeah, skadoosh, throw, skadoosh, throw, skadoosh. It is just lobbing your teammate, who then just either does a fireball or lobs something. But that's, I mean, this is full on 80s, 90s vibe. If you weren't lobbing your teammate at someone in the 80s and 90s, you weren't doing anything. So it kind of fits the bill. What are your thoughts on this, babe?
After this weekend, it almost makes me want to go back and play it, which I think I might do. We ended up 100% in Shredder's Revenge in one playthrough, despite obviously playing it on medium. I understand that you can play through it on hard, and you can play through with all the other 6 characters to get like all the endings and stuff, but to be able to go through, do all the side missions and get all the collectibles and stuff like that in one run, I feel like I don't need to go back and play Shredder's Revenge now, unless I absolutely have to, or I have some burning desire to go back and play it. Then that's something to do. But with Streets of Rage 6, we only played it in like 3 hours. It was an insert coin segment, so it was like 3 hours. There's still probably so much that we missed on that. Just being able to try and get through to the end as fast as possible and do all the levels and shit. That does make me want to go back. And the fact that they've added 300 things to a game that's now 18 months old, maybe even 2 years, like, yeah, of course, that's just adding more fuel to the fire. I think I might end up go back and re-downloading this game again, just to be able to go through it one more time.
Yeah, I'm impressed with it. I'm impressed. I mean, it is genuinely a great game, by the way. If you haven't played Streets of Rage 4 and you've got a couple of hours spare and you want a change of pace, you don't want anything that's as serious or as in-depth or as stressful. I mean, it can be stressful, as your more modern game styles, then jumping back into a Streets of Rage is definitely something that I'd recommend. A Streets of Rage 4 is all the best bits of all Streets of Rage games combined with new technologies. And the same thing applies to Turtles Shredder's Revenge as well. So, yeah. I don't think it's going to be enough to get me back into it, mind. But that said, I say that. I'll never say never with something like Streets of Rage, because I have Streets of Rage 2 installed on my phone just for when I'm on planes, so I can play through it again, kind of thing. So, yeah, I would recommend. If you've never played it, I assume because Turtles is on Game Pass that Streets of Rage 4 is as well. And with 300
I think that's how we played it, wasn't it?
Was it?
Oh, did we parsec?
I think we parseced. But you must have had it on Game Pass Ultimate on PC or something, and I parseced into you. So yeah, 300 improvements, custom survival modes, and absolute 80s vibes where one dude sticks his hand up and the other dude grabs hold of the hand and then they spin around and throw them at the enemies. And you can do that shit now. Who doesn't want to do that shit? I want to do that shit in PUBG. Let's go. Jumping back into the chat, I think we'll pause it there with the stories because we are at an hour now and we do have 2 stories. Stalker 2 looks like it could be a big story, whereas the CSGO story... Do you know what? I'll give you a CSGO summary. CSGO hit 1.4... What? Thank you to our... Oh, there we go. I just scrolled down and saw a tweet embedded in the article, which absolutely melted my brain because it was a similar sort of thing. CSGO has 1.4 million Twitter followers. It also had 1.4 million concurrent players on Steam over the weekend, which, wow, what an actual number. Imagine every single person from your Twitter just going and playing the game at the same time. But yeah, 1.4 million people were simultaneously playing CSGO this weekend. And yes, that is a new record. That is from Vikki Blake over at Eurogamer. So that reaches a tweet that comes from a tweet that says, thank you to our 1.4 million Twitter followers for organising and playing CSGO concurrently today. There you go. So we won't actually bring the article up, but that was taken from Vikki Blake's reporting over at Eurogamer. CSGO once again has set a new record for concurrent players on Steam. 1.4 million players is ridiculous.
Outrageous.
Spicy. Biddy still... Who's Biddy? All right, Biddy. Hey up, Biddy.
Older me.
Biddy still has Elder Scrolls 6 in his head. Streets of Rage 6. Yeah, I did. So I did the 4. I held the 4 fingers up because he called it Streets of Rage 6. I was like,
I'll do that.
Yeah.
6 of Rage.
But I'll let you off.
Cheers, mate.
Cookies. Hey. Hope all well.
Hey,
all are well and mentally healthy. Fantastic. We are now. You are here. Nice. Sorry. Frightfully sorry. Welcome in, Lotus. I'll read. How's the games? I don't know if you saw my exiting message. I know I was sat in Lotus' stream and we were talking about that thing that people do where they roll up into your stream and they go, oh, your stream's great. I was just about to fire up my stream too. And, oh yeah, I've been trying to do that also on my stream, which I'm about to do shortly too. So as I was exiting his stream, we were getting ready to do the scoop. I was like, speaking of the conversation you were talking about earlier, and then, yeah, similar sort of thing. I'm going to go do my stream over on my channel on Twitch now. Bye. I was saying about passive self-promo. Yeah, I was passively self-promoing very aggressively. If that makes sense. Nice. So yes, nice. Band. Fuck's sake. Do you know what? I won't do an exclamation mark Lotus then. I won't promote you in my stream instead, mate. Oh, you're about me. But I look at him. He's talking about his games on stream. Great games, he says. Ratatata. Make sure you check out Lotus. Or else. He's got a new intro video. If you didn't see it today, watch it tomorrow. Facts, me. Okay, we are going to disappear. Thank you, everyone that stuck around for the stories. To give you a little bit of a recap, The Elder Scrolls 6 could end up coming to PS5 after all. This is a rumour that is based on the fact that Xbox is really crap, and that is the only way that people will be able to play it to a high level. That is taken from Phil Spencer's mouth directly. Oh wait, no, that's not what it said. Actually, it might do. It didn't say Xbox was crap at all. Awkward. Next up, Microsoft confirms it will not be at E3 on the show floor. It'll be next door, probably. Possibly, maybe. We'll see. But they will have a digital conference. Streets of Rage 4 has had an update as well that will bring more than 300 improvements, including custom modes and the like. So do feel free to check that out. And 1.4 million people played CSGO over the weekend, which has set a new record for concurrent players on Steam. Skadoosh. Firing up my OnlyFans if you want to check me out. Only when you do a collab with Lotus. Yeah, exactly. And then share it in the middle of our OnlyFans broadcasts as well. Nice. Okay, we are going to disappear. A reminder that we are back to normal-ish this week, so we'll have streams for you every day, plus Chasing Crates with Mates on Wednesday and Saturday, and then Bibby will be around on Sunday for TBC. We'll let you know.
TBC.
We will let you know.
Skyrim.
You want more Skyrim?
Maybe.
Okay,
Maybe.
nice. So yeah, do feel free to join us for any of that stuff. Oh, Batman Dan, while I have you actually, did your chair arrive? Has it arrived? I think it's arrived, right? Did you put some pictures in the Discord? If you didn't, you should put some pictures in the Discord because I want to see the chair there. Make sure it's arrived there. Pictures in the Discord. Also, you need to tell us what game you want as well for the loot drop. I don't know if you've responded to that in the Discord too. So yeah, make sure you let us know what game you want and we will sort it right out for you. Obviously, the standard stuff applies, so like no super special editions and no £500,000 editions or whatever. Your standard priced video game, we'll sort it right out. But yeah, that's it from us. But before we leave, is there anything that you'd like to add, Mr. Bibb?
Yes, again, like Graham said, we are back to normal this week. So if you want to have your say and help shape the 4 remaining shows this week, there is 2 ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you're listening to this on Spotify, please rate us 5 stars. If you haven't enjoyed it, give us 1 star. I'm not asked. As long as you are reacting to this podcast on that platform. Same goes with Apple. Same goes with Amazon. Any of the places that you are listening
it's
to
this, absolutely 5 stars, by the way.
It's absolutely 5-star.
If you liked it, it's definitely a 5-star show. And if you disliked it, you have to rate it 5 stars to show how angry you are. So either way, it's 5 stars. Yeah.
Absolutely. There probably will be a poll being put up in this as well, so feel free to interact with that as well. Only for Spotify that happens. But again, yes, that's all we need you to be able to do. Give us the URL to the story that you've seen. Give us your thoughts and opinions inside our Discord. Again, you can find all of the links to all of the things in this description wherever you are listening to this. Give us thoughts and impressions. We'll then give you our thoughts and impressions live from, I think, the studio tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day.
Yeah.
At what time?
10 a.m. Ish. If you are listening to this on the podcasts, you are missing out on some great content by not being in the stream, because I can give you the latest update from Enix in the chat, a founder and a VIP in the channel. He says, my shit is absolutely massive. So yeah, there you go. If you're not in the stream, you're missing out on absolute nuggets like that. So feel free to join us next time.
Oh, apparently not nuggets, Graham. Apparently big fucking logs.
Boulders. Badoosh. Anyway, stick around if you are in the stream. We will drop a raid on one of our friends. Until next time, as Lotus says in the chat, free Starsty.